Welcome, Peter Mount Shasta. So welcome to everyone joining in on Facebook, on Zoom, on video, or over the phone. We're so happy you're here.
Good. Just wanted to say I have the white Tara behind me, one of my favorite beings. And I just want to say you are all very special beings to be here. And I thank you for showing up. These are very trying times in which we are living now. But I would like to remind you that you volunteered to be here now. That's not by accident that you're here. So all of the lessons that we're going through are part of our mastery. So it's important to remind ourselves that the tests and challenges are part of our growth. This is really a crash course in mastery. And you should remind yourself, I did volunteer to be here now. This is my assignment that I chose. And I am here to master my attention and to use every challenge for my mastery. And sometimes those challenges are very great. Just life itself sometimes is a great challenge now. Sometimes during these times, you also have a great gift or a spiritual awakening that happens. Then following that, you will have a great challenge. This happened to me this past week. One day I was looking at the sun. I frequently do the Gayatri mantra in the morning, looking at the sun. I don't look directly at the sun for more than a second, but as I was glancing at the sun, and these beings in the sun contacted me, even though the physical sun is a ball of fire, there is an etheric sun, like a planet within the sun, where they're in a higher frequency, where there are conscious beings. And some of the great avatars from history, like Rama and Krishna, reside in the sun. A being by the name of Gayatri and Gayatra reside there. And these beings gave me a blessing. And the love was so overwhelming, I started crying. Annika was there and she could see how moved I was. I have rarely felt such intense love as I felt coming from the sun. And what they said to me, they spoke telepathically, and they said, "It is very brave of you to be on the earth during these trying times, that we know how difficult it is, and our hearts go out to you." And they said, not just to you, Peter, but to all humanity on the earth, our blessings and our love goes out to you. So when you look at the sun up there, know that you're receiving a blessing from them. If you feel gratitude, all of our food that we eat comes forth as a blessing from the sun. And one of the great mantras, the Gayatri mantra, invokes the consciousness of the sun into our own minds. It's basically saying, may my mind be one with the consciousness of the sun. And that sun connects us with the great central sun, which is the source of all consciousness. I will just recite that mantra briefly. Om Bhuvasvaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bargo Devasya Dhimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. if you do that mantra inwardly, you receive a great blessing. That's one of the great mantras that existed prior to the creation of the earth. That's a long time ago. So then we also get challenges, as I said. So this morning I received, one of the challenges, this morning I received an email complaining about my teachings, saying that you used to give the pure I am teachings and now you're combining it with other things. This was kind of a shock. I thought, why did I get this right before I go online to give teachings? Somebody complaining. But I realized what a great blessing this is. This gives me a chance to deal with what they said. And I understand some people like the simple, pure teachings, just I am. Decree for what you want, say I am, and it will manifest. Well, I'd like you to think for a moment, what if everyone on earth understood the power of those words, I am, and used it to get what they want? The world is already somewhat of a mess because selfish people are using their power to get what they want at the expense of others. What if they understood the I am and were using that to amplify their greed and selfishness and egotism? The world would be even more of a mess. So there's another part to the teachings of mastery, and that is self-purification. To go within and say, is what I want really what God wants, my I am presence wants, or is that my ego, my human self wanting that? And that is where the path of self-observation comes in, which you practice in meditation. And only by self-observation do you become a master. You don't become a master by decreeing for what you want. Even if you think you know what the world needs and could manifest it, if you have wounds in your ego, wounds in your emotional body, you'll be creating chaos with your decrees. So it is very important to practice this self-observation. And there are many ways you can do that. I have a YouTube video that teaches Vipassana. There are many other ways using a mantra, even just looking at a leaf on the ground and observing that leaf. And as your mind wanders to something else, you come back to the leaf. And then you will find thoughts coming up, feelings, emotions, some of them painful. And by observing them, you help to understand where they're coming from. So it is these unhealed emotions, unhealed wounds that we have that cause some of the health problems that we have, some of the emotional problems. So if we are not happy in our daily lives, that gives rise to physical illness. So it is very important to look at those emotions and see where they're coming from. And sometimes we think something is healed, but it's not. Now, 2 years ago, I was taking a nap one afternoon. I was awakened by the appearance of my mother. Well, my mother passed on 10 years ago. And I was very surprised to feel her energy. And I said, Mom, what are you doing here? And she said, I need you to let go of some of the anger that you have toward me. And I said, I did. When you died, we cleared everything. I let go of everything and I forgave you. She said, no, there are still wounds that you have, there's still some blame and anger in there you need to let go of. And she said, I cannot go on to a higher level until you let go of me. And she said, Saint Germain asked me to come and ask you to heal those wounds within yourself. And so for the next couple of months, I looked at things and I realized there were emotional wounds there. And I realized that the things my mother had done to me as a child were a product of her own upbringing, things her parents did to her. And it was all out of ignorance. There was no bad intent, it's simply ignorance. And it goes back and back, 6, 7 generations. It says in the Bible, the sins of the father or sins of the parents are vested on the children unto the 7th generation. So I had to go back through all 7 generations and bless all those ancestors for their errors, for their ignorance. And I finally was able to heal those emotional wounds. And since then, my mother has ascended to a higher level. And she thanked me, came to me several months ago and thanked me for clearing that, which made her ascension possible. And that also helped to heal me and raise me into a higher level. I could not go on in my own mastery until I had healed those wounds. And that makes possible also greater physical health to let go of those things. Because anywhere the energy is tied in a knot within us is where the energy is blocked. And where the energy is blocked, that's where illness arises. So I would like today for us to be able to let go of some of those things and to heal ourselves. And we are very blessed to have Annika with us as the healing minister of the Church of Seven Rays. Earlier in the year, Annika and I were joined together as partners by Jesus. He told us that we had work to do together, and we have been doing this work since then, trying to find ways in which we could be of service. And Annika has great gifts as a healer. I've heard even from a doctor in whose office she worked that he saw amazing results from her healing work. And this takes place from the highest levels and is transmitted down into the physical. So after our meditation, I will turn the meditation over to Annika, who will invoke those beings she works with from the angelic realm, as well as the ascended masters. So I would like to say once more, before we meditate, this self-observation is very important. On the one hand, you have the teachings such as Advaita, which teach you how to attain oneness. If you really do that correctly, you cease to exist as an ego. You merge completely with the field of pure consciousness. There's no awareness of you as a person or of space and time. So needless to say, you cannot not hold a job and be in the oneness consciousness. You cannot be in a relationship because there's nobody else but you. So if you are a yogi in a cave someplace, that is great. Or if you live alone, you don't need to work. You can be in that. So practically, most people who practice Advaita learn to live in a relative awareness where you have the sense of oneness in your core, but you also acknowledge that there is something called relative awareness where you are interacting with other people and in the 3D world. Then there are the teachings that were given in the 1930s by Godfrey Ray King, which are actually one small portion of the ancient teachings from India, where you use speech to alter your reality, where you use the spoken word to serve the light, to bring awareness and consciousness onto the planet, to invoke the violet consuming flame, and to invoke healing. That is very, very important. That was a great gift of Saint Germain given through Godfrey Ray King in the 1930s. However, Saint Germain is now instructing me to combine that with the ancient meditation teachings. Saint Germain actually gives these meditations, or gives the basic meditation in the first chapter of Unveiled Mysteries, where he says, meditate on the light in your heart and see it as a great sun, and expand that light outward through every cell of your being and into the room and into the entire world and universe. Keep expanding that light of the sun. And you can even end it by saying, I am the Son of God. I am the living light. So he does give meditation instruction. Now, there are also other ways to still the mind. If you have a hard time visualizing the sun within you, you can just simply feel love and expand that, or observe the in-breath and the out-breath, the rise and fall of your chest. And gradually your consciousness descends to this area. It's not the physical heart. It's closer to the thymus gland, which is where the threefold flame is anchored. And then when a thought comes up, you just put a label on it, thinking, or you can say emotion, or old wound, or a sound, or a pain in my knee. You put a label on it, thinking, and come back to the rise and fall of your chest. Gradually, that will help you still your mind. And as the mind slows down, eventually you will see that there is a gap between the thoughts. At first, that gap might be a quarter of a second, then 1 second, then even 5 seconds. Then you might even have 10 seconds where there are no thoughts. And in that 10 seconds, your mind starts to merge with pure consciousness, and you receive insight into the nature of reality. You get answers to questions. And as you come back into relative reality, you may suddenly have insight into who you are, what you need to work on, or you may receive actual guidance of what to do in your life. Then there is something else you can do after that. This is where the Vipassana comes in. You ask, what am I? Sometimes they say, who am I? But sometimes that takes you to, well, I am Peter, or I am such and such a being who works somewhere. So I say, better than asking, who am I like, what am I? So you meditate on I. What is the I? And you go beyond even the I, because there is someone saying that I. You actually merge with the I that I am. This is why the Buddhists say you must get beyond the sense of I. They don't mean the cosmic I, they mean the ego, the sense that you are the one doing everything. the identification with the ego I, which we might label me. We have to get beyond the sense that the ego is the center of the universe, and we evaluate everything in terms of how it affects our egos. That is what the Buddhists mean by getting beyond the I. So in this meditation, we go beyond the ego I, and we start to experience the cosmic I. Then you don't even need to do an affirmation, like the masters don't need to do decrees and affirmations. They just think something and it manifests, because they are in complete harmony with the cosmic I at all times. So I would like now for us to meditate and go inward, turn your attention inward, and practice one of these forms of meditation. And it's shining out through the walls into your neighborhood, just like the sun came down out of the sky into your neighborhood, filling it with light. And that light is expanding out into space, filling the entire earth, filling the entire universe. And the center of that light is the sun in your heart. And you can even say, I am the Son of God. That's S-U-N, the Son of God. I am the living light. I am being shown what I need to work on in myself. And I am working on it. I am dissolving and consuming all human limitation from my mind, my emotions, and from my physical body. I forgive everyone unconditionally. I am wholly pure and perfect. I am good. Let us give gratitude to the great ascended masters who are with us this morning. The Master El Moria, the Master Kutumi, the Master Paul the Venetian, the Master El Serapis Bey, the Master Hilarion, the Master Jesus, and the Master Saint Germain, and the beloved Lord Maha Chohan, as well as many other masters, including the great Sisterhood of Light, those great Lady Ascended Masters who embody the Divine Mother energy and healing and nurturing quality that sustains the universe. We give thanks to you. Let us open ourselves now to the healing from the I Am presence and these great masters, angels and archangels. Annika, we are ready for your healing ministry.
Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you for blessing us all in the sacred space that we are in together on this day. I ask each of you tuning in this moment to continue to keep your eyes closed, turning inward. Let us turn our attention to the presence within. Surrendering now to the highest consciousness. Surrendering now to the highest light within you and all around you. I call forth Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Gabriel, and the legions of God's angels, and the Ascended Council of Light to surround you now, holding you in the most loving, comforting, nurturing embrace. Take a moment to bring forth your awareness, your intention for today, for healing for yourself, or holding in your consciousness anyone who you'd like to lift up into the light of healing. Allow yourself to continue to sit comfortably and upright if possible, to receive healing energy from above, flowing down through you and extending out beyond you. Or just remain in a comfortable position, whatever feels best for you at this time. There is nothing that you have to do, nowhere to go. Just simply be in these next few minutes together, being fully present to receiving and surrendering to your highest good and for the benefit of all beings now. We are moving into the stillness, into the silence. Let us take a moment to bring our awareness back to our breath, coming back fully into the present moment, into the space where you are. Thanking the presence of divine, unconditional love, and thanking all of the angels and ascended masters, all of our guides for blazing their light to us. The light within us is expanding now. I humbly ask the Ascended Council of Light and all of the angels of God to continue the healing that is needed for every individual present during this gathering and for all of their loved ones. for all of our neighbors, for a blessing of healing for every nation, and the highest blessing possible for this planet. I ask for healing from all separation consciousness, with assistance in helping us to reawaken fully to who we are, one with all. Thank you.
Thank you, Annika. That was beautiful, very powerful. When you put your hands up, I could feel the energy come out. I had my eyes closed, yet I still felt when you put your hands up. It just shows that on the etheric plane, we're all really connected despite the illusion of distance and separation. We are all together. So let us all remember during the week to continue to affirm, I am being healed. The healing process does not always happen instantaneously. Sometimes it takes time. But know that these beings, which Annika invoked, are still with you. And you can invoke them yourself. I am healing, the healing presence. I am being healed. So I'm going to end the meeting now, but that doesn't mean you have to stop what you're doing. You may continue your meditation, continue to invoke this healing and forgiveness and sending out love to the world. Each of you is a powerful being. And by doing these practices, you are transmitting healing to the world. So I thank you for being here, for showing up, and please keep us posted if you would like to do this again. My love goes with you all. Thank you.